welcome all. Today we can discuss least square curve fitting. So first, what is meant by curve fitting? Suppose we are given a certain set of x and y values, xi, yi, where I is equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. up to n. So we are given n xi and yi values. Now in curve fitting, what we do is we will select a function which exactly matches or which fits best with the given value, so that we may calculate the y values for given or intermediate x values. So the process of finding out the equation of a curve that fits best to the given x and y values is known as curve fitting. And today we will be discussing the method of least square curve fitting. So in this although a number of methods are available for curve fitting, the most popular one is the least square curve fitting. In least square curve fitting, as we have said, suppose if we plot the given x and y values, if we are getting the points like this, if we plot, when we plot the x and y values, the given x and y values, suppose we are getting the points like this. Now in linear least square fitting, we will use a function or equation which matches well with the given values. It is not necessary that the function should pass through the given data points, and this is our fitting function f of x, that is y is equal to f of x. This is the fitting curve. Here we are using a straight line to fit the given data point. So it is you have to note that it is not necessary that the equation that we assume exactly passes through all the given points, but it should satisfy or fit best to the to all the given data points. And in linear least square fitting, we will be taking the function as a straight line. So we may assume this as equal to a1x plus a0, where a1 and a0 are variable constants, or these parameters that we can adjust these parameters so that the curve fits best. Now in least square method, the principle is that the deviation of the values from our functional value of the function should be least. That is, the actual value of y1. Suppose this is the y1 value corresponding to x1 value. So this is the value of our function corresponding to that particular x value. This is the value of function, that is f of x1 is this much, and this is our y values, y1 value. So y1 minus f of x1, y1 minus f of x1, this is known as residual value, d1, deviation or error from the actual value, experimental value. That is here this is d1, actually this is d1, isn't it? d1 is y1 minus f of x1. Similarly, what will be d2? d2 will be equal to y2 minus f of x2. That is, f of x2 is a1 x2 plus a0. f of x1 is a1 x1 plus a0. So this deviation, we can write this for all values. Here also this is the deviation. Here the deviation is negative, isn't it? This is the y1 value, f of x3 value, and this is y3 value. So y3 minus y3, when we take y3 minus f of x3, the values may be positive or negative. So we will be taking the square of the residues. So according to least square principle, it is said that the sum of the squares of the residuals is a minimum. This is the basic principle of least square fitting. That is, sum of the squares of the residuals is a minimum. So you know what is residual? Residual is actual experimental value minus our functional value. This function we have assumed it as a straight line, a1x plus a0. It is not necessary that always this is a straight line. There are exponential curve fitting also. Suppose if we assume the form of the function f of x as equal to x raised to n plus b. So this is not linear, but we can make this linear by assuming x raised to n or substituting x raised to n as x. So that our function f of x can be rewritten as ax plus b. Now this has become linear and we may use the linear least square fitting. Similarly, suppose f of x is having a form, suppose is a x raised to b, a x raised to b. If a function like this is given, we can make this linear by taking the logarithm, log or natural logarithm. Log f of x will be equal to log a plus b log x. Now we can substitute log f of x, or log f of x is actually y. So this may be written as log y. So log y can be taken as y. Y is equal to, here also we can write this as y. Y is equal to log a, we can write it another constant a, plus b log x can be written as a. Here also this has become linear. So here we will be discussing linear least square interpolation. Now we can derive the formula corresponding to that. So the basic principle is sigma I di square is a minimum. So we will define the sum of the residues. We can take it as S. Sum of the residues S can be written as S is equal to sigma I di square. So we can substitute for d1, d2, d3, etc. up to dn. So that the function first term will be y1 minus, our function is f of x. Y is equal to f of x is equal to a1x plus a0. This is the linear function that we use to fit. So y1 minus this is the experimental value minus functional value. Functional value is minus a1 x1 plus a0. So this is d1. So d1 square plus next is d2. y2 minus a1 x2 plus a0 square plus etc. etc. plus last term yn. yn minus fn. This is square here. Minus fn. fn is a1 xn plus a0 square. This may be marked as equation number 1. So this is the value of the residue. Square of the sum of the squares of the residues. So in least square fitting we have to make this as a minimum. So for this we will be taking the derivative, partial derivative of s with respect to a1 and derivative of s with respect to a0. If s is to be a minimum, both these derivatives should be equal to 0. So this is the condition we apply here. So first we calculated the sum of the residue, squares of the residues, and we take it as S, and we have to differentiate S with respect to A1 and A0 so that the function is a minimum. So first we can differentiate with respect to A1, or first we can differentiate with respect to A0. So dou S by first term, dou S by dou A0, that will be equal to, first term is this one, x square 2x. So 2 times y1 minus a1 x1 plus a0 the whole square. So 2 times this function into, with respect to a0 we are differentiating. So actually this is minus a0. So we have to multiply this with minus 1. So 2 into y1 minus. Similarly, the next term, when we differentiate it, we are getting 2 times y2 minus a1 x2 plus a0 into minus 1 plus etc etc. And our last term is this one. When we differentiate it, we are getting 2 times yn minus a1 xn plus a0 into minus 1. And this will be equal to 0 for us to be minimum. So, excuse me, minus 2 is common. Minus 2 is common to all the terms so that we can cancel. And the rest we are getting is only the bracketed terms. So, I can rewrite this. Okay. Okay. This is S. I will rewrite it here. Okay. So this here there is y1, here y2, and then up to yn. So I am writing this as y1 plus y2 plus etc etc up to yn is equal to, these negative terms can be taken to the right side, so that in all the n terms there will be a0s. So we can write it as n times a0 plus, then here there is a term a1 x1. There is the term a1 x1. Here a1 x2, then a1 xn. So a1 into, we can write this as x1 plus x2 plus etc etc up to xn. So this is the equation we are getting from this one. Again, we may rewrite this as equal to, this is sigma I equals 1 to n yi, and this will be equal to n times a0 plus a1 times sigma I equals 1 to n xi. This may be marked as our equation number 2. So, applying the first condition, we are getting an equation like this. Sigma I yi is equal to n a0 plus a1, sigma I equals 1 to n xi. Now, again we can consider equation 1 and differentiate it with respect to a1, so that we are getting dou s by dou a1 is equal to, again, 2 times y1 minus a1 plus x1, a1 x1 plus a0 into, with respect to a1 we are differentiating, so that we have to multiply this with minus x1 plus, next term is again 2 times y2 minus a1 x2 plus a0 into minus x2 plus etc etc. Last term 2 times yn minus a1 xn plus a0 into minus xn. So and this will be equal to 0. So here also minus 2 is common in all these equations, so that we can cancel that, and again we can write the similar terms. Here there is y1 x1, y1 x1, there y2 x2, etc. up to yn xn. So I can write this as sigma I yi xi, where I equals 1 to n. That is the first term we are getting. Then sigma I xi yi, we can write x first. Xi yi is equal to, then the next term is a1 x1. This goes to the right side so that the sign becomes positive. a1 x1 square, here a1 x2 square, a3 x3 square, etc. So that we may write this as equal to a1 times sigma I equals 1 to n xi square, plus here a0 into x1, a0 into x2, similarly a0 into xn. So the next term is a0 sigma I equals 1 to n xi. Isn't it? I e by d square. So this may be marked as our equation number 3. So we are getting equation 2 and 3. We have two parameters a0 and a1 for our function. We don't know what are the values of a1 and a0. Now we have got two equations containing the parameters a1 and a0, so that we can solve these two to get the values of a1 and a0. For that, we will be considering equation 2 and 3 along. So I will be cleaning all this and writing the two equations only. Our first equation is sigma I yi. The second equation is sigma I yi. And our third equation is sigma xi yi is equal to ai. This is ai. So here you can see that AC coefficients, we can eliminate a0 between these two, so that we will be getting the value of a1. Here the coefficient of a0 is n, here it is sigma I xi. So we can multiply equation 2 with sigma I xi. Equation 2 into sigma I xi is, this is equation 2. So left hand side sigma I xi, sigma I yi equals, here also n times a0 sigma I xi plus a1 sigma I equals 1 to n xi. Again we have to multiply this. So sigma I xi the whole square. That is our equation. And this may be marked as equation number 4, and our equation is equation 3, we are having sigma xi yi as equal to, here the coefficient of a0 or the term that contain a0 is a0 sigma I xi. So we have to multiply equation 3 with n. Equation 3 into n gives n times sigma I xi yi is equal to, here n times a1 sigma I equals 1 to n xi square plus n times a0 sigma I equals 1 to n xi. This may be marked as equation number 5. Now, from equation 5, we can subtract equation number 4. So that our left side becomes n times sigma I xi yi minus sigma I xi into sigma I yi is equal to, left hand side, this term gets cancelled. Na0 sigma I xi and Na0 sigma xi gets cancelled. So the other term is n times A1 sigma I xi square minus A1 sigma I xi square. These two are different. This is sum of xi square and this is sum of xi the whole square. So that we may write, from this we can write A1 as equal to, A1 is equal to n times sigma I xi yi minus sigma I xi into sigma I yi divided by, here, n times sigma I xi square minus sigma I xi the whole square. This is the equation for finding out A1. So we get A1. We are given x and y values. So from that we can calculate sum of xi yi, sum of xi, sum of yi, sum of xi square and sum of xi the whole square. All these values we can calculate from the given x and y values, and from that we may find out the value of A1. And once we get the value of A1, we can calculate A0 using this equation. That is, y is equal to, we know that y is equal to A1x plus A0. So that A0 will be equal to y minus A1x. So for this we will be generally taking the average value or mean value of the given x and y values. Y bar, this is the average of the given y values, and x bar is the average of the given x values. So from this we can calculate A0 also. So once we get A1 and A0, we can substitute this value in this so that we may find out the y value corresponding to any x value using this least square curve fitting technique. This correlation coefficient CC is equal to square root of Sy minus S by Sy, where Sy is equal to y bar yi minus y bar. Sy is equal to yi minus y bar, the whole square. Now we are taking this square because the deviation is sometimes positive and sometimes it is negative. So we will be taking the squares. So this is the correlation coefficient. Correlation coefficient actually gives the effectiveness of the curve fitting, and for the best fit the correlation coefficient value should be equal to 1. So this is all about curve fitting by linear least squares. Now we may do some problems based on this. So the question is, find best values of A0 and A1 if a straight line y is equal to A0, y is equal to A0 plus A1x find the best values of A0 and A1 if a straight line y is equal to A0 plus A1x is fitted to the data xi, yi, and the values given are 1.6, 2, 2.4, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.8, 5, 5.7. These are the given values. We have to find the correlation coefficient and also the values of A1 and A2. So, we have written the equation. We know the equation that for A1, I will write it here. A1 is equal to n times sigma I xi yi minus sigma I xi into sigma I yi divided by n times sigma I xi square minus sigma I xi the whole square. So these are the values we have to calculate for finding out A1, and once we find out A1, we may calculate A0 from that. Then using the equation A0 is equal to y bar minus A1 x bar, where y bar and x bar are the mean values, mean x and y values given. Then we have to calculate the correlation coefficient S also. Correlation coefficient. For that, it's better to form a table like this. So here I will be writing the xi values, then corresponding yi values, then xi square values, then yi square values. Yi square is not needed. The xi yi is needed. So next we can write xi yi. Then next one is sy. Sy is actually yi minus y bar. Yi minus y bar square. Then S is yi minus A0 minus A1 xi square. Isn't it? This is deviation, y minus, or these are the values we require to calculate A0, A1 and correlation coefficient. Correlation coefficient, the equation is Cc is equal to root of Sy minus S by Sy. So, I will write all the values here. The x1 value is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Xi value is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And yi values 0.6, 2.4, 3.5, 4.8, 5.7. Xi square values 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. Xi, yi values. X multiplying 1 into 0.6, 4.8, 10.5, 19.2, 28.5. Then yi minus y bar square 7.84, 1.01. This is 0.01. Then 1.96, 5.29. Then here the values are 0.07, 84, 0.06, 76, 0.01, 00, 0.01, 96, 0.04, 84. These are the values, and in the last step we may write the summation. Here it is 15, sum here 17, 55, 63.6, because we have to calculate xi yi sum. Similarly xi square sum, yi sum. So I will be writing the sum in the last step. Then 16.1, then 0.2240. These are the values we are getting, and on substituting these values, x bar we are getting it as, you may complete this, x bar is 3 and y bar is equal to, that is mean value of y. Mean y value is adding all these y values, 17 by 5, 17 here, 15 by 5, 3. So y bar is 34, and the value of a1 is equal to, we may substitute this here. So a1 is equal to, n is 5, so 5 into sigma I xi yi. Xi yi is 63.6. So this is 5 into 63.6. 63 into 6 minus sigma xi, sigma yi. Sigma xi is 15. Sigma xi is 15. And sigma yi is 17. So minus 15 into 17 divided by, again, n xi square. N is 5 into xi square. Xi square is 55 minus sigma xi, the whole square. Sigma xi is 15. So 15 square minus 15 square. So when we calculate this, its value is 1.26. We get A1 as equal to 1.26, and A0, we may substitute all these values, and we are getting A0 is equal to minus 0.38. Lack of space, I am not writing all these steps. You may substitute and calculate. So the value of A0 is minus 0.38, and the correlation coefficient is, when we substitute the values of Sy and SCC is equal to Sy. Where is Sy? Sy is 16.10 minus S is 0.2240 divided by 16.10, and its value is approximately 0.9930. So this is a very good fit, because this is approximately equal to 1.99. It's a best fit for the given data. So this is all about least square fitting. So you have to do a number of practice problems, and we can continue the next class. Okay, thank you.